Hi, this is Dina with Free Well, and we are going to talk about transition breathing. Now, transition during that stage of labor, contractions are waves. That surge of energy is about 60 to 90 seconds long and about 2 minutes apart. So there's shorter amount of time between them, which makes it more intense. It is the shortest phase of labor, but it is the most intense phase of labor. Some women will experience vomiting, some won't. You can transition in all different positions. I know for my first twin pregnancy, I was transitioning on the side with leg up in between the pillow and that. And I describe this time as feeling very productive. So if you have a lot of feeling still, lower half, you can feel and sense the movement happening. The baby is moving down the birthing canal. And so it's an intense feeling. While I was sidelined, I had my husband behind me, my partner. I had my birthing team around me, and there were a few times that I kind of wanted to get out of that position, but I encourage you to stay with it, and they did. So there's some things that we can help. We're going to talk about breath work. This stage, it's going to be shorter and more shallow breaths. So earlier on, we talked a lot about deep breathing, deep belly breathing. With transition breathing, oftentimes you might not have that capacity. There were certain points during my transition, I do remember being able to take deeper, longer breaths, and you can certainly utilize that deep belly breathing that is in the earlier stages of labor for this transitional stage. But if you can't get that capacity, you or your partner, the person assisting you, can help encourage more shallow breaths but still breathing. We don't want to hold our breath. So with all of the breath work, we want to still try to remain relaxed. This is an intense phase where we might want to cramp up or bunch up that pillow or have the white knuckles or clenched jaw, and just anything to encourage yourself, have your partner encourage you to remain relaxed, because it does help open that pelvic area, the area where we want to create space. So again, jaw unclenched, brow not furrowed. You want to remain calm, shoulders away from the ears. If you are having your partner do some gentle touch or pressure, again, if you're experiencing pressure certain areas, whether that be back labor pain, you can have a tennis ball with someone pushing against there with gentle pressure, or a hand. You can do pressure at the true hip area, the widest part. And then the other coping is breath work. So like I said, 2 breaths in, 2 breaths out, so more shallow. If you can get the deep belly breathing during the transitional stage, when contractions are 60 to 90 seconds long, 2 minutes apart, go for it. But if you can't, just focus on shorter breaths. So you could go ahead and try that. 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, out, 2. 1, in, out, in. Okay? Whatever that tempo helps. And some people like it when their partner helps count for breath work. Some don't. I know personally, I think at least with the first pregnancy, my twins, I would caution Pete in opening his mouth. So he was always there, he was helping me, he was soothing, he was encouraging, he had encouraging words. That helps during this stage. But I didn't want so much the repetitive counting. I needed to focus in the way that made sense for me. Find what works for you. If one thing isn't, try another position, try another means. Encourage your partner to help guide you into different ways. But transition stage, focus on shorter, more shallow breaths. A 1, 2 in, a 1, 2 out. Still try to relax. And the other thing I would say, you can transition in any position, really. For my first, I was transitioning in that sideline. But I would encourage you, no matter where you find yourself, whether it be in a bed, a squatting position, birthing stool, all fours, sideline, with a peanut ball, without a peanut ball, try during this stage. You might not want to put your hand on your belly as you did in the earlier stages when you're really focusing on deep belly breathing. This is an intense stage. So maybe try to find an area where you can ground yourself. I remember this during transition with my first, the twin pregnancy, and I was sidelined and it was intense. And there were times where I wanted to get out of it, but I remember grabbing my arm. I had a pillow under this arm. I had a pillow under my legs. I think one of the, either Pete or my doula was, around my leg, helping that be propped up, and just encouraging that progression to happen. But I remember grabbing my arm and really grounding myself in my body there. So during this transition stage, find a point of focus, an area to ground yourself and connect with your body. You might not be in this stage where you're, thinking about belly and holding that area, but if you're grounding with your hand, or some people like a squishy ball, you could squish that, but you really, I encourage you to try a touch to yourself in terms of whether that's your wrist or your arm, or your arms around the pillow, and something to pull yourself back into what's happening, because this isn't a time when I say, connect with yourself in some way. This is a time where a lot is happening and you might, feel like the world is moving outside of you and around you and a lot is happening. But if you can just bring it back in through a simple touch or focus on something, that will help. So focus on those 1-2 breath. Inhale through the nose, out, inhale through the nose, and exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. That will really help get you through the transition time.